Thanks for joining us today. I'm Molly Protozo from Digital Media Training, and we're here today to talk about CRO, conversion rate optimization. Let's face it, sales and marketing has changed and it's going to continue to change, but what can you do to stay up to date? Well, that's where we come in. Digital Media Training, or DMT for short, is on a mission to help both individual professionals and global businesses achieve their sales and marketing goals. Our focus is to help you increase your confidence and knowledge in sales, digital marketing, and advertising. We do this through ongoing training, coaching, and reinforcement. We deliver our training in a variety of ways. That may be through live workshops, virtual workshops, personalized coaching sessions, custom online videos, and more. So thanks again for joining us. We're excited to talk to you about our topic of today. I'm, again, Molly Protozo. I'm COO of DMTraining, and I'm here because I'm passionate about helping businesses like you thrive through training. I believe a commitment to learning positively changes lives, both personally and professionally. So we're here to help you open your mind and think differently. Just to give you a little background, I'm responsible for the daily operations of our business, and I work closely with each and every client to help them strategize their business and develop a training plan that's tailored to their needs. Steve Bookbinder here is our CEO, sales expert, and lead trainer. He's traveled millions of miles and trained tens of thousands of sales professionals that to be successful, you have to continuously focus on improving, adapting, learning, measuring, inspecting, and testing new ideas. You'll hear an introduction from Steve himself in just a minute, but before we share that message, I'm going to pass it over to Federico Salvetti to introduce himself and today's speaker. Fede, take it away.
Thank you very much, Molly. So as you can see from the picture, I am responsible for global digital sales innovation at GE Healthcare, as well as other enterprises and ventures that we've established over the years. The reason why I wanted to join the DMT team is that I completely agree and understand their vision. Their mission to help people through training and help the sales force and sales strategists understand how the entire business of sales is evolving is inspiring, and that's probably the main reason why I'm here today. My colleague Luca Catania is also going to share with us through a clip that is an abstract that we got from his latest executive education on conversion rate optimization. Him and I share the same passion for making sure that sales evolve in a way that blends really well with digital marketing, and that handshake between marketing and sales becomes strong. That's the two main reasons why we've joined forces with you guys and with all the people that listen to the webinars from DMT. Molly, do you think we should hear directly from our fearless leader, Steve?
Absolutely. Let's hear from Steve and let everybody get to know him a little bit better.
Exactly. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here because he's delivering a massive training today, but he's been kind enough to send you all and us all this little message.
Hi, I'm Steve Bookbinder, CEO of Digital Media Training. I'm also the sales coach to some of the largest media companies in the US, including broadcast, print, pure play, and ad tech companies, as well as the major media trade organizations. My clients know I've worked with and learned from the smartest rocket scientists and heads of digital throughout the US and other countries. And that's why they trust my advice. But who do I go to when I need marketing help? I go to the best of the best. Luca Catania is one of the best globally, which is why I asked him to present today's webinar. Luca has worked in 8 different countries as Chief Revenue Officer across verticals like aviation, professional services, food and drink, insurance, and the education industry. He's been responsible for tens of millions of dollars of optimization. That means he's mastered key activities like testing, customer experience, and funnel management, which are the very principles you will learn and understand in our digital marketing certification course. Remember, what you know is worth money, literally. Your career and your company's future depends on mastering the digital media strategies that Luca will explain. Increase your personal value by paying close attention to what Luca has to teach all of us.
And I have to say, Steve is absolutely right when he talks about being worth money. I still remember when I first did the DMI certification many years ago, the digital marketing certification many years ago, and that's when my life as a sales professional shifted from looking at it from a relational selling perspective, and I moved it on to a more digital, and which opened, at least it opened for me a lot of doors. So I completely agree with Steve from that perspective. Now let's move on.
Hi, I'm Steve Bookbinder, CEO of.
There you go. Let's move on to what Luca Catania shared in his latest education session that he had with senior executives. Now, the reason why we selected this specific piece is that conversion rate optimization is probably at the moment the space in hiring interviews, the share of time in hiring interviews that we spend most time on. Most of the question that we ask people when we hire them is around what their understanding is of conversion rate optimization, what understanding they have of testing, what is their holistic view on involving all the various channels to convert in terms of traffic creation that converge onto a website, and how do you make sure that when people are in fact on your website, you're creating the most seamless experience and create the best products so that they will never leave your website and complete the transaction and will become raving fans. The people Luca and I would normally relate to, they go both from the team that actually executes the strategy to the senior executives. And most of the education that we have to do with the senior executive is to help them create context so that marketing managers will receive the budgets that they need to hire the right people. And so I think that his overview in helping us understand CRO will provide you with the information that you need to have that conversation either with people that wants to hire you and that you're going to interviews for, but also internally when you need to convince your manager as to why certain budgets are extremely important. So let's hear what Luca has to say about it. And if you have any questions after the session, you can either text them into the question box or send us an email afterwards, and we will be happy to respond to all your questions.
Hi and welcome. Let me ask you a question. If you would get hired as an head of digital marketing, where would you invest most of your budgets? Try to think about that for a couple of seconds. It seems as most of the head of digital now are investing their budget into data, for example, insights, acquisition campaign. Let's think about Google ads or Facebook ads, and of course, CRO, conversion rate optimization. The news is that unfortunately, this is wrong, at least most of the cases. Okay, let's start from here. Let's think about how many ways do you know to grow an online business. Let's try to think that you have a website and the things are going well, but yeah, you want to grow as an expert, you want to help your company to grow the revenue. Of course, one of the easiest things to do is to drive more traffic, because usually more traffic equals more sales. Or you can think about rebuilding your website or build a new property, a new website. For example, You can launch a new website into a new market. Or what about thinking about CRO, so incremental changes, so incremental growth, that it seems to be quite common now. Or again, another thing that you could do is to actually think about building better products, for sure better than those. And if you really don't know what to do, you can always use the old methods that always work. By the way, each of those strategies hides a risk. For example, driving more traffic. It's expensive. And also, you are not too sure that the new traffic that you're driving is also driving sales. What about building a new website? As you know, building a new website could be quite expensive, hides lots of things that you can't predict. So actually, sometimes building a new website could be quite risky without having the right insights and having the right budget to support even failures. Incremental changes is one of the most common ways now that companies are using to increase their revenue line. Again, what's the risk here? The risk, it could be time. Let's imagine a scenario where you have a budget where you have a revenue goal that is quite higher, let's say 4 times higher than where you are now, and you are aiming to reach the target in 1 year. The risk with small incremental changes is that to get that goal, actually, you could need 3 years, and maybe you risk to be out of the business. And again, building new and better products is very good strategy, but you need the right insights. You need to understand one important things, or you really have to understand what your potential customers really want. That again is not always an easy thing to do. So before going further, as you can imagine, I'm going to introduce to you a new way to think about growth. But before doing that, I would like to really focus your attention into one point. Conversion rates, so incremental changes, it's not equal, or it's not always equal to a strategy that could help you to grow your business. Conversion rate optimization is actually a tool, and as a tool, you can use it to test new hypotheses, and then using those hypotheses to help you building better insight-driven features for your product or for your service. But if you are not fully aware of what CRO is, even if it's so a not topic for now, let's start from the basics. Conversion rate is actually how many people are visiting your page versus how many people are reaching your goal. So to make that even more simple, if you have 20 visitors, and then thanks to what you are doing on your website, you are getting 1 sale, you will have a conversion rate of 5%. So now let's ask yourself why people think that conversion rate is so important, and actually it is, for most of the people, the best strategy to grow a business. You can see clearly from this picture, if you can double the figure there, instead of having 5%, you have 10%, how many more sales will you make? Right? So you will double your sales without increasing the number of visitors. So that sounds like cool, very cool. But again, I will explain you in a minute why even this strategy could be a bit risky. So again, how does it work? How conversion rate actually works? So it's very simple. Let's imagine that you have your website, and then let's think about that you are an amazing marketer, and then you have an amazing idea, but you still have some doubts about that maybe changing the headline or your website will actually generate more results. So when you have doubts is when you can actually use a tool to split test your website between your original page and your new experiment, for example, the page with the updated headline. But let's try to get a bit more into a real scenario. So I'm bringing here an example. On the left, you can see a page that we will call that control, or in certain scenarios, people call that variation A. On the right, there is the same page that is almost the same apart from one element. You should be able to spot that what is changing here is actually the headline. As you can see, if you try to guess which of the two are generating more results, you're just guessing. So what is doing CRO is allowing you to gain insights and to test these two versions of the page both together online and gaining actually results out of them. Now try to bring those two headlines, especially variation B, into a focus group or brainstorming with your team. You will probably have half of your audience that will be against one of the other. And that's actually very good. That's a very good thing, because thanks to this tool, you have a way to get rid of personal opinions and actually bringing everyone in a condition of proving that one idea, or let's call it a hypothesis, is better than another. And it's not that someone is, clever or less clever than the other one. It's just that it's not always easy to understand what people think when they are exposed to our pages or our messages. In this scenario, let's try to guess which one of the two do you think it will generate more results. If you think A, you think like me. If you think B, actually you think right, because the variation B, where in this website, well, the goal was to sign up, and then the headline is quite, let's say, could be in a way borderline to being offensive in certain cases. Actually, it did have a much better impact. So finally, welcome on board. This is conversion rate. That's it. Okay, let me tell the truth. The truth is that we are just at the beginning. The truth is that this is just a bit more complex. What you just saw now is what people think is CRO, that actually is just a small dot among a much more complex universe. So to grow your business, you don't need any data, any A/B testing or CRO. And this is kind of shocking news for most of the people. But before answering or digging more into that, let me show you a video.
Hey, is that Hanks?
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Oh, Nick M?
No.
NM1983?
No.
Zandy Pops?
Sorry.
Zandy Pops?
No, okay. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's a GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever. Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based products for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation, design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear, or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Just one loaf, sir.
Yeah, we just.
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
That's not even a word.
Okay, how about this one?
You know what? Forget it.
Or this one?
Hippopotamus.
You're in.
Great, I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh, well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's, standard. Standard delivery, that's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what? I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, okay. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what? I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Dear customers, this call will be closing in 10 minutes. Please proceed to the checkout. Please proceed to the checkout. Thank you.
Unfortunately, what we just saw is what usually we are doing CRO, for example, or just thinking about growth, because We can have amazing ideas to grow our business. So we think about, hey, I think that having a pop-up that upsell a product, or having a cross-sell into the chart or buy or paying process will increase our sales. The truth is that sometimes what we are doing to grow our business is having a negative impact on our users or our clients. So your goal is just one goal. You have just one goal, to make your client happy, but not just happy, because just happy clients, unfortunately, are equal to clients that are unhappy. The reason is because let's think about you going into a restaurant and ordering pasta. And then finally you get your pasta, you eat your pasta, the pasta was okay, was good, you left the restaurant, that's it. So actually you are happy, but nothing happened that made you not just happy, but something more than happy. And that a small thing could be someone that was remembering your name, was bringing your favorite cheese, just complimentary things with your order. Actually small stuff that doesn't cost a lot to a company, but make a huge difference for you. So again, having just happy clients is not enough. What you have to do today is to think about, how can I make my client crazy happy, much more than happy? And so doing that, you will naturally grow your business and not vice versa. There is a wonderful example of matching business goals, so growth, revenue, and actually user happiness. And I'm sure that you know this business too. It's called Dropbox. So what Dropbox did is to offer a crazy value to a client in exchange of telling some friends about Dropbox. And look at that. If you really look at this page, for example, what they did, it wasn't to offer just 10 mega, 100 megabytes free, but actually to give away up to 16 gigabytes. That's a lot, right? So that's where actually we can balance both of the most important elements into any digital strategy or marketing strategy. That we can say that again is in one side is the growth of the business, and of course the growth of the happiness of our clients. So in this case we can apply SEAL, happy clients, crazy happy clients, well done. Cool. So now, how can we use CRO to actually grow revenue while keeping our user happy? That's, of course, the most challenging part. But I will give you a very simple strategy that most of the digital marketers are ignoring, and it's not so complex to apply. That's the most interesting thing. So how can you make your clients happy? Try to think about that. Try to think about your property, your website, and try to ask you one very simple question. What are the expectations of your clients? The first thing that you have to do is to just understand your client expectations. After doing that, go into your website in the page where you think a client, for example, have a specific expectation, and just try to understand if you are actually answering that expectation. Most of the time, what is happening is that expectations are not matching reality. So when you understand that this is the case, then you have to just do one thing: matching expectations. So if you are in ads where you are, for example, advertising red wine from, let's say, Florence, and then people are clicking on that ads and they land on the generic page about red wines, are you matching expectations? No, you're not. So the first thing that you have to do, and actually you don't need any data, any insights, is just to make sure you are matching expectations. Then the thing is a bit more complex when people use phrases like best red wine from Florence, for example, because then you have to dig a bit more to understand what qualify for your clients the word best. The best could be different based on the users. So there, matching their expectation is a bit more complex. When you understand your client's expectations, and then also you are in a situation where you are matching the expectations, what you really have to do is to move one step further and exceeding the expectations. That's the key of today, the modern digital marketing. A very famous example for at the moment that I can share with you is, for example, Revolut. You know, the banks are doing their job since many years. They feel safe. They're growing their business steady, but someone really understood the client's user needs. And what they did is to create a product that actually is easy to use, is very easy to open, for example, new bank account with an amazing app, a crazy service. If you never tried it, you should. Try to register a new credit card, with Revolut, and then try to challenge their customer support. Try to log in your app and try to go into customer support, click on the live chat and try to ask a question to them. You will be really amazed. They will answer to you even complex questions in a matter of minutes. So that's exactly exceeding expectations. And that it is actually, if you want to say, the most secret weapon that you can have. Now, you will be still unsure about the outcome of your hypothesis. So again, it's where the CRO comes to help you. So once you understand what is the most, let's say, hot, most burning problem or desire of your users, then thanks to CRO, you can create or you can formulate hypotheses. And from that hypothesis, you can, for example, have 3 different versions of a page. And then, thanks to some specific tools, you can just test those pages all together, and then you can understand which one is working the best. So actually, you will have to run an experiment. The process will start from once you have your hypothesis, you are matching and maybe exceeding customer expectations. You can design a layout, create variation, define a test plan until you run your experiment, understand what is working more. But again, what most of the people that are running CRO are missing is not the technology behind, it's not like the workflow, but it's what we just discussed. You have to think about exceeding clients' expectations. That's the key. It's not CRO, it's not data, it's not insights. Those are just tools to prove that you are right or wrong. But first of all, use your brain, talk with your customers, and try to understand if you are matching or not their expectations. But remember, there are things that you can control and others that you unfortunately you can't. For example, let's think about your conversion flow. On the left, you have control. On the left of this graph, for example, you can decide which kind of ads you're running, where are you running them. You can decide to pay to have some TV spot running, social media campaigns, email marketing. So you can actually, in a way, shape your traffic. You can choose where to be seen. Then you can also control your sales funnel, online and also offline. And in a way, you can also continue talking with your users when they are now buyers or clients. So what you can't control, or you have less control, is what is happening actually in your client's brain. For example, they will always compare you with other options. And it's where actually you can't always control what the other's doing. Or news, society, what is happening, for example, now in a country from like political elections or etc. can have a direct impact on your conversion rates. Your brand reputation, the context of the user is watching Netflix when he's scrolling your website, or is walking in the street, or is at the airport, and of course personality. That is another very important element. So now we have the tools to get rid of opinions and work on hypotheses. And look, when you have a meeting and when you have like, let's say senior people in a room, having a process, agree that you are doing CRO in your company, it's an amazing tool because will help you to avoid that someone that is more senior with more power will impose his own opinion or idea. And then thanks to our tools, you can actually just think about, formulate an hypothesis. If we will test the most valuable hypothesis, nobody will lose, everyone will win because we will have some data to prove if we are right or not right. And most of all, most important, we will have a framework to get rid of opinions because everyone will have to come and to present a phrase that is formulated this way. If, for example, I change the headline mentioning the characteristic of my target audience, like on the example that we show at the beginning of this presentation, then I expect more people to subscribe because, and then is where the magic happens. On the due to fact, you have actually to present a rationale that could be a research that come out, or it could be a previous experiment that gave you important insights, could be some Google Analytics data, whatever it is, it should be something scientific to prove your hypothesis. And then the most important thing is with one specific hypothesis, you can't fail because you know that it's based on something that you are trying to prove. So actually, it will happen, you will just learn more about your users and how are they interacting with your products in your specific market. So again, you will be happy, your clients will be happy. Now, before just finishing this webinar, I want to present you with 3 tools that you can actually use to start doing CRO, digital marketing. They're very common. One is Google Analytics, that I'm sure you know. And then the core of a CRO program actually is a tool like Visual Website Optimizer. It's a tool that will allow you to split test different variations of your page and will help you to track results. So if you don't know that, just go on the website. You will have some videos where you can actually understand how this tool is working. And of course, Hotjar. But I recommend you to use Hotjar in a very clever way. Instead of using that just to track and to see where people are moving their mouse, you can actually use what they call income feedback to measure one important element that is called Net Promoter Score. So with this small page on your website, people can select a smile and then can tell you if they're happy on that page or if they are not. At the end, you will have per each page a value from 1 to 5. Let's say that you have average in your website, people are happy, so they rate your pages 4.5. But then analyzing your data, you see that there are pages where they actually are less happy or really unhappy, for example, with a score of 1.5. So what you can do is to have a look at that page to investigate more, and in most of the cases, you will immediately find what is making your clients unhappy. And so, just to summarize what we discussed during this webinar, you don't focus too much into the tools, into the strategies, into the data. The most important things that you can do today is just to understand what are the exact expectations of your clients and to use those tools to prove that your hypothesis is right or wrong. And trust me, this is the best way to grow your business. So I wish you to have lots of not just happy clients, but crazy happy clients. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and let me know if you have any question. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Luca. It was a very insightful 20 minutes of his time. Among the many key points that I take away from what Luca has talked about, I think that it's important for us to understand what you can control and what you can't control. So there is everything that we can control has to do with what kind of campaigns we drive, what kind of awareness we drive, how do we interact with people on social media, what kind of messages we send out. The things that we cannot control, of course, or we can control less, are how are people feeling at a specific moment of time when they're visiting the website? Have their expectations changed over time? And there is kind of, it seems like there is little that we can do about it. And based on my experience, simplicity pays off better than complexity when it comes to matching those expectations. I hear every single day with all our clients, a lot of people that create a crazy number of personas that have different ambitions and different expectations. I was at working at a client's company that had up to 24 personas. That's definitely too complex. What we need to do is to create simple hypotheses for 2, 3, 4, 5 personas max, and then trying to be very good with those. This is my 2 cents, of course, based on my experience. Then what I like specifically about what Luca said is what I have started using more religiously lately and continuously is a visual website optimizer. It's not really just something that we do on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis. It has become more like a habit that we always run something similar on a weekly basis to make sure that we have immediate feedback from clients, whether they like a page or they dislike a page, if they want to share a comment. Obviously, you always have to put into context that there is some people, most people will share with you negative comments more than positive comments. So you have to take that into consideration and put it into context. And I really, I find that to be extremely valuable. I hope you found it interesting. To let us know if you have any questions. I'll pass the ball on to you, Molly, now.
Thanks, Fede. Wow, that was a lot of great information Luca shared. So as you know, I just reiterate what Fed just shared, and I hope you all took away something from it. And again, reach out to us if you have questions, comments, or even just want to bounce any ideas off of us. We're happy to help you. Also, if you're interested in continuing on this learning path, we're going to be sharing additional information and resources following today's webinar. So, and as you can see here on your screen, please contact us at the number here, and also visit our website. You'll find more detailed information about our certification courses, which will give you the foundation of knowledge that you need to be able to even understand the CRO concept more. So that's what we're aiming to do here.
Molly, there is something that I wanted to add, if it's okay with you.
Yes, please.
Point. On the website, there is a specific page on your website where you have a breakdown of the modules for the Digital Marketing Institute certification that you partner with the DMI. That I thought it was particularly interesting. Would it be okay if I was to show it to our users right now so that they could get a better understanding?
Absolutely.
So the reason why I thought this was specifically important is because it gives you the breakdown of how the building blocks of what you need to know from a 360 degrees view perspective in a more holistic way. When we interview people for jobs, we understand that some people are very, very good, for example, at social media. They're very, very good at Google Ads. They're very good at creating specific content, and they're very good with video or with text. When you do conversion rate optimization, while your expertise might reside, for example, in content, and content is extremely important because right now, with all the technologies that we have available, these technologies have one thing in common. They're all very content hungry. So let's take this as an example. Content. If you are a ninja at creating content, but at the same time, you partially understand how, for example, platforms work, the various content platforms work, or you are not very good at understanding how the ROI of your activities work to report into management, or if you do not fully understand what are the formats that you need to use on Facebook or on Twitter or on LinkedIn that determine what kind of content you're going to produce, or, for example, what kind of campaigns you need to create, which we go back to Luca's presentation. This is what you can control. Campaigns you can actually control. The rest, it's very hard to control. If you don't have a holistic view, we find that it always takes a lot of time to train people to then come on board, fully come on board with our vision of conversion rate optimization. And so you as a person, or all the people attending today's webinar, or part of the DMT community, will have an advantage towards 99% of people out there, which are, using the same example as we did before, very good at content, but not as good as understanding how that content interacts with the rest of the infrastructure, which is actually what then helped us create the hypothesis for conversion rate optimization. That's the only thing that I wanted to add, Molly.
That's great. Thanks so much. So there you have it. The great foundation of digital marketing to help you further your career and develop your skills.
So what we're gonna do next, Molly, if it's okay with you, I took a recording of the webinar that we have produced today, and I will also gather all the questions that people sent us in the back end on the chat, and we'll create an email with some kind of a frequently asked question section, and also sharing where they can download the resource, or simply just send them the file if you agree, whichever format that you agree. But we're going to follow up via email with all the participants today.
Yes. Plus, our participants today, anyone who joined us, we're going to be able to offer you a 50% off discount. So Stay tuned for how to get that.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm tempted now to take the certification. Yeah, 50% off is absolutely amazing. Okay. Then I will let you follow up with all the participants today. Well, with that said, I think we got to the end of our time. And Molly, is there anything else that you would like to add?
You know, I just want to add that everyone here today, your professional growth and development is extremely important to us. So let us help you unlock your potential and take your career to the next level. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. And Molly, thank you so much.
Thank you, Fede, and thanks to Steve and Luca for their input as well. Take care, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.